and a warm welcome to the final whistle. I'm Kenzie Benali.
And I'm Steve Forbes.
Well, we are halfway through this semi-final clash, and it is advantage Newcastle. Dean Hammond and Paul Belveston are back with us to discuss the match. Certainly a good one for the neutral, Paul. Seemed to have it all that game. How did you assess the match?
Gutted to be talking about another defeat. I thought there was an awful lot of positive for Southampton. I was really hoping that noisy lot there were going to have a very miserable 13-hour journey home, but not to be. I think the key is that we can see progress from Nathan Jones's side now. After the real lows at the start, Brighton and Forest, these last few performances, you can see that there is a plan there and that it's getting better every game, that there is development there, that the players are really taking on board these ideas, that they're playing with aggression, they're playing with intent. There's good performances all over the pitch. Really impressed with Charlie Alcaraz on his first start here today. I thought Sekou Mara set the tone, was wonderful as well. They're not making it easy for opponents. They're creating or causing problems and creating chances for themselves again now. So the tie's still alive. That was the main thing, the main intention that we came in here wanting to say in this show. We've got that. There's an awful lot of work to do at St James. It's going to be very tough, but you know, it's still open. The chance is still there for a place in the final.
Yeah, I think that's the key, isn't it, Dean? The tie is still very much alive. Talk us through your thoughts on that performance.
Well, exactly that. The tie is still alive, so that's the main thing. It was second half. It was a brilliant cup game. It was fantastic to watch. It had everything: opportunities, goals, disallowed goals, tackles. It was a really good cup tie. So Southampton need to be proud of themselves, and I'd agree with Paul. What we can see is progression. Southampton played well tonight, really did. Some players, Adam Armstrong coming to the pitch, that's the best I've seen him. I thought he was fantastic. I don't think the goal should have been disallowed. I'm sure we'll talk about that. I thought Diallo was magnificent in the centre of midfield. The amount of times he wins the ball back, the unselfish work he does, I thought he was fantastic. And we can see as a group how Nathan wants them to play now. Paul said it, they're aggressive, they're on the front foot. Defensively they look strong, they don't concede too many chances, and I don't think that was the case tonight. Newcastle probably had one or two, and then maybe could have got one or two at the end, which a little bit of naivety from Southampton at that point when they went down to 10 men. But the tie is still alive, and that's important. And going to St James's Park at 1-0 is still on the cards. You go up there, you get an early goal, or you keep it at 1-0 for a long time, and their crowd get a little bit nervous because they'd be desperate to get into a final. They haven't won silverware for a long time. There's an expectation on the group and the club to get to the final now, especially with the lead. So you never know. So it's still open. The players played well, and I think they deserve more. So Paul used the word gutted. I'm gutted for the players, and I'm gutted for Nathan, because they played really well tonight, and there's real improvement. So that hope continues to grow in me. So gutted for the players. They didn't deserve to lose the game. Didn't probably deserve to win it, but I think a draw would have been a fair result tonight.
Paul, not much to write home about from that first half, but we know how much you love to discuss disallowed goals. One for you to discuss in that period. It went in Southampton's favour. What was your verdict on it?
Yeah, so what happened? I'm getting distracted by the very loud Newcastle fans. So I looked it up on the FA website, the handball law. I don't know if it's changed, because they often change the wording or tweak or whatever. I thought, first of all, Joe Willock has done very well down that left-hand side of Newcastle. He's cut inside Lianco, he's put the ball across. Gavin Mizunu's made a good save, but the ball is very much alive on the edge of the 6-yard box. And Mohamed Salisu has played a blinder. It was him against 4 Newcastle attackers. They were all there. He's got in the way, and then the ball has popped up, and then it's hit Joelinton on his sort of lower arm midriff at the same time. Now the law, whether it's always been this or whether it's just been clarified for this season or recently, it says that it is handball. The goal has to be ruled out if you score immediately after the ball has hit your arm, whether that's accidental, deliberate, it doesn't matter. So that had to be ruled out, because the referee said it's hit his arm. the debate now seems to be that Newcastle fans and pundits, I saw Shay Given, Les Ferdinand have been very vocal about this. I can't think why, with their black and white tinted spectacles. They are saying that some of the angles suggest the ball didn't hit his arm, it was just midriff. I've looked at 10 angles many times. I can't say for sure that it didn't hit his arm or it did. If the on-field referee has said that's handball, it definitely shouldn't have been overturned and said yes, it was a goal. I don't think anyone looking at those pictures, because ultimately you're looking at a 2D image, you can't see for sure. There is, and it's just too vague. We got the right decision there in the end, I think.
Yeah, well, of course, more controversy to come later on in the match, which we will come on to in just a moment. But Dean, I want to get your thoughts on Charlie Alcaraz. He made his first start in a Saints shirt. Of course, a brilliant shot that Pope had to stop towards the end of the first half. What did you make of his performance tonight?
Brilliant, fantastic for an 19-year-old. What a performance! The energy that he had in the game, the confidence he had on the ball. The willingness to get forward, the understanding to do his defensive duties for such a young man is really, really important. He'll be gaining Nathan's trust all the time because it's such an important area to play in that part of the field. He was excellent in possession, never stopped running all night, had that strike in the first half which had really good movement on, but that responsibility and willingness to take that on. It was probably Southampton's first shot at goal in that first half of any real meaning, and then the pass for Shay Adams in the second half. What a pass! Later on in the game, still had that energy, still had that vision. So an excellent performance. We saw glimpses of it when he came on against Everton. He looks like he's really wants to get forward and create chances and get a goal. So it looks like he's been a really, really good signing, put a very, very good performance in tonight. And I thought the midfield three were excellent. Like I mentioned, Diallo was very, very good. James Ward-Prowse again led by example, and they put a real shift in against a very, very good Newcastle team. So a brilliant first start for him, and long may it continue.
Paul, Dean touched on it there, that through ball that Alcaraz plays for Shay and forces the stop out of Nick Pope in goal. And it was one of those times, not for the first time this season, where we've said, if only that had gone in.
Absolutely. I mean, what a wonderful ball. So beautifully weighted. It went between the two defenders. Shay didn't have to break stride or anything. The problem is Shay had too long to think about it, I think. He took 3 touches before shooting, 2 touches before shooting, and you could see that was a striker lacking in a bit of confidence. He's not had too many chances this season, certainly in recent weeks, since the restart, for example. And the ones he has had, he's either snatched at them or he's never looked the most natural finisher in that position. But, when he is on a run, and he does tend to score in clusters, he would have struck that much more cleanly. He would have perhaps taken 1 touch fewer and given Pope no chance. But it was one of those I certainly never felt particularly confident when he was in that position, because he had too long to think about it. A couple of minutes later, there was a sort of more instinctive chance in the penalty area where he spun and forced a save out of Nick Pope. He didn't have time to think about that. That was just instinctive, and he was a little bit more unlucky there. But, it's one of those where Shay Adams is a player of great quality. He just needs that regaining of confidence, and then goals will come again. But with the likes of Alcaraz in the team giving more balls like that, more chances are going to come, and then the goals will come.
Absolutely. 73rd minute, Newcastle did take the lead. Dean, please could you talk us through that one?
Well, it came in an unfortunate time because Southampton were really on top and having a really good spell in that second half, creating chances, were camped in Newcastle half. I thought they were passing the ball really, really well, looked confident, and looked really, really strong, and I thought they were the team that were going to go on to get the goal. But it came from Newcastle having a bit of spell possession, switched the play a couple of times, got the ball wide, and then Shileta Shah's just a little bit over-eager. He wants to try and win that tackle, where really if he just gets goal side, and I can't remember what Newcastle played, he just sends him back towards his own goal, makes him play backwards or sideways, but he gets him, he spins him, and Isak's so quick, and then he's towards the byline, and you have to say it's quality from him because he picks Joe Linton out. It's a really, really good pass. You see players in that position where they panic or they hit it too hard or they pull it back too far, but he waits, he's really composed, and he waits for Joe Linton. And I promise you, when that ball's come to Joe Linton, he's a little bit nervous himself after missing that one probably 10 minutes earlier on his left foot again, but he stayed composed and he just put it into an empty net. So disappointing, because Southampton were really on top then in the ascendancy, and I thought they were going to be the team to score. But Newcastle, you can see, a bit harsh to say the difference, but the substitutions, the impact, the players they bowled on, St Maximin came on, had a real impact as well. You can see they're moving up, going to come one of the bigger clubs, and that made a difference tonight. Fresh legs, quick pace, and that was just a moment where Shaletta Shah, with his experience, should just know, goal side, send him backwards, and I don't think the goal will happen.
Well, Paul, we've got another disallowed goal for you to talk us through now, because just minutes after Newcastle went in front, Adam Armstrong thought he'd equalise, but VAR had other ideas.
Yeah, it was a tremendous response, and not just from the players either, because we're hearing a lot of noise from the Newcastle fans now, but the Southampton fans today were magnificent. Right from the off, the first 10 minutes, it was all Southampton. It was so noisy, St Mary's, and then that spell that Newcastle had in the second half that Southampton sort of weathered a little bit, but then they were given a big boost by the crowd again. Then they were attacking, Newcastle took the lead, Southampton fans again responded, and I think they deserve a great deal of credit. But then down on this right-hand side, Adam Armstrong, James Ward-Prowse, they nicked the ball, moved it forward, and Southampton were really good at that throughout the game, putting pressure on, being aggressive, nicking the ball, moving forward. I don't think we've seen Southampton play so many forward passes and driving forward as often as they did in this game. The ball went out to the left-hand side, it came back in, and again, it's one of those where you can feel hard done by, but after what happened to Newcastle, because this definitely did again hit Adam Armstrong's hand as it went in, it might even have gone in directly off his hand, but there was certainly a sort of a little bit of a jumble with Dan Burn. There was a bit of hand involved, and so obviously they ruled it out. And I think you have to go back to the handball rule again, because it's gone in directly after hitting the hand. It has to be ruled out. But blimey, it's cruel, isn't it? Another VAR that's gone against Southampton. There is no luck going this club's way at the moment, so surely that's going to turn soon.
It's got to, hasn't it? And we need a bit of a rub of the green for sure. Well, another big moment in the match was when Shaletta Shah was shown a second yellow towards the end of this second half. But Dean, perhaps crucially, the score remained 1-0. I mean, a second would have given Southampton a mountain to climb, wouldn't it? So how do you assess the tie as it stands going into next week?
Well, like you say, Kenzie, really important that it stayed 1-0 as a maximum, really. And Shaletta Shah made the right decision at the end. So Maximin was in full flow. He's a dangerous player when he's running at you at that pace, and his body movement, his balance is so good, and he just sent Shaletta Shah the wrong way and he stuck a foot out, but rightly so, otherwise he's through on goal and potentially it's 2-0, and like you say, that the tie is over then. But like you say, it's in the balance. It really is. I know it's easy for us to say from here, and the players will be in the dressing room and they'll be disappointed because of the effort they've put in, and they're losing the game and they're losing the tie. But you go to St James's Park and the atmosphere will be brilliant. It'll be electric to start with, but if Southampton, the bonus Southampton now is defensively they're strong. So they're not conceding 2, 3, 4 goals anymore. So they're always in games. It's whether, when they get those opportunities, they can take one of them. And if Southampton can stay in the game, be patient, stay defensively strong, the Newcastle fans are still singing, but if stay defensively strong, and when they get those openings, because they will, every game you get an opportunity, and take them and be a little bit more ruthless, or like Paul said, get a little bit of luck where a decision goes to them, a penalty, a goal that maybe shouldn't be, then they're back in the tie. And the players will believe, because they played against a good Newcastle team tonight and they've tested them and they've pushed them all the way. And I promise you, those Newcastle players will be in that dressing room and they know they've been in a game. They'll be tired and they'll know that this tie is not over. So, look, I look forward to it. It's difficult and it would have been easier if it had been level, but they're still in this.
Well, it's another cup game for Southampton next time out, Paul, in the FA Cup. They've got Blackpool at home. How do you think Nathan Jones will approach that one?
I think he'll make some changes, but again, absolutely going out to win it. You know, managers don't ever put out teams to throw away cup tie. I know some don't take it nearly as seriously as others, but this will be another good opportunity to build confidence, build development and progression and everything again. he will mix it up, I'm sure. You know, I think I'd like to see Mislav Orsic start again, because he was quiet today, didn't see much of his quality, so that'll be another good opportunity to get him a bit of confidence and get used to everything that it takes in this division. Blackpool are struggling. They've got a new manager. I think it's Mick McCarthy's first game in charge, so you know, he'll make sure that it's a big battle out there. But there was a lot of character on show today, and a word for Jan Bednarek, by the way, who came on to some boos because of what's happened with his move to Villa and what he said about it. He's come back, and he's clearly come back with the attitude that he wants to help this club stay in the Premier League and do what we can in the Cups. As soon as the red card happened and he came on, he was on at every defender saying, right, focus, this is what we've got to do. And at the end of the game, he did a lap of the pitch and was applauding everyone. It would be very easy for him, after some of the reaction, to just go and hide. But Southampton need more characters, more outgoing personalities at the moment, really stamping themselves on on matches in all competitions. And wins breed confidence, and that's how they're going to get out of trouble in the Premier League. That's how we're going to enjoy more success and more great atmospheres and nights like we've had tonight, but with a positive result.
Nice, definitely. I mean, it is another big day for the club on Saturday, Dean. So what are your early thoughts ahead of facing Blackpool?
Like Paul's just said there, it's a game that it'd be brilliant for Southampton to win and put another performance in and continue that progress that Nathan has put into the group. A chance to utilise the squad and get more minutes into players, but also he'll have in the back of his mind the following Tuesday for the second leg of this. So it's an interesting one for him, because he'll know it's a home game and he'll want to win. He'll want to continue win, and like Paul says, you win games, it breeds confidence, you feel better about yourself, the training ground atmosphere feels better, you go into games looking forward to winning, and if you don't put a performance in against Blackpool or you lose the game, it's difficult then, and there's a negativity around the group. So I could see Nathan putting a really strong team out, maybe 50-60 minutes for some players, making 4 or 5 changes, utilising the squad, but winning the game. Go out, win the game, entertain the crowd, score some goals and enjoy it, and then go into the game with that fresh mindset, thinking, right, okay, let's take this to Newcastle. We've got nothing to lose. They're expected to win, and you can turn it around.
Great stuff. Well, Dean, Paul, thank you so much for joining us on Saints Live and the final whistle tonight. Well, that's it from a raucous night here at St Mary's, but it is advantage Newcastle at the halfway point of this Carabao Cup semi-final clash. Next up, it is Blackpool at home in the FA Cup before a trip to St James's Park with a place at Wembley up for grabs. We'll have another Saints Live for you then, so enjoy the rest of your week and we'll see you soon.
Bye for now.